Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you on a journey not of distance, but of mystery. We live in a world that feels like it's getting smaller every day, thanks to satellites, social media, and modern technology. Yet, in the middle of the Bay of Bengal, there's an island that remains untouched by all of this, a place so mysterious, so forbidden, that even governments stay away. This is the story of North Sentinel Island, an isolated piece of land that has resisted the outside world for tens of thousands of years. North Sentinel Island is part of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, located in the Bay of Bengal and officially belonging to India. However, this tiny island is like a world of its own. It is about 60 square kilometers in size, surrounded by coral reefs, and heavily forested. What truly sets it apart, however, is its people, the Sentinelese. They are considered one of the last, uncontacted, tribes on Earth. The Sentinelese are believed to have lived on the island for up to 60,000 years, that's right, tens of thousands of years without any significant contact with the outside world. They are hunter-gatherers, relying on fishing, hunting, and gathering fruits and wild plants for survival. They do not appear to engage in agriculture or use fire in a controlled manner. To this day, they do not wear clothing, use metal tools, or have a written language. They live in small huts and build simple weapons, like bows and arrows, which they use for hunting and defending their territory. The Sentinelese are fiercely protective of their isolation. They have made it very clear that outsiders are not welcome. Boats that come too close are often met with a hail of arrows. There are multiple recorded incidents of fishermen, explorers, and even Indian officials being attacked or killed when they attempted to approach the island. Why so hostile? Well, imagine this: your ancestors have survived on an island for thousands of years without disease, colonization, or pollution. Now imagine strangers arriving with unknown languages, technologies, and microbes that could wipe you out. Would you trust them? In 2018, a 26-year-old American missionary named John Allen Chow attempted to visit the island with the goal of converting the Sentinelese to Christianity. Despite the Indian government's strict ban on approaching the island, he paid local fishermen to take him close to shore. He was killed by arrows shortly after setting foot on the beach. His story sparked international debate. Was he a martyr? Or was he reckless, endangering both himself and the people he sought to reach? The Indian government has officially declared North Sentinel Island off-limits. It is illegal to go within 5 nautical miles of the island. This is done for 2 main reasons: to protect outsiders from violent attacks, to protect the Sentinelese from diseases they have no immunity against. Even a simple cold virus, brought in by a well-meaning visitor, could be catastrophic for this tribe. They have no resistance to the kinds of germs that we are exposed to daily. Over the years, there have been several attempts to make peaceful contact with the Sentinelese. In the 1970s and 1990s, Indian anthropologists and officials tried a method called contact expeditions. They left coconuts, bananas, pots, and even dolls as gifts. Occasionally, the Sentinelese would take the gifts, but they remained suspicious and sometimes aggressive. One of the most remarkable images from the 1990s shows a Sentinelese man aiming his bow at a helicopter hovering overhead, barely clothed, but full of defiance. Eventually, the Indian government abandoned contact missions altogether. The risk was simply too great. The existence of the Sentinelese raises deep ethical questions. Should we leave them entirely alone? Should we try to communicate with them? Do they have the right to remain isolated in a world that's rapidly modernizing? Some anthropologists argue that total isolation is not sustainable forever. Others believe any contact would be a form of cultural violence, a repeat of what happened to many indigenous peoples across history: disease, colonization, and cultural erasure. In 2005, after the Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami, the Indian Coast Guard flew over the island to see if the Sentinelese had survived. Surprisingly, they had. In fact, they shot arrows at the helicopter, proving they were alive, and still hostile to outsiders. Since then, India has stepped up its legal protections of the island. No tourism, no scientific missions, no journalists, and definitely no missionaries. This strict policy is part of a broader effort to protect what remains of the world's uncontacted tribes. North Sentinel Island is a living reminder that not all of humanity is connected. It challenges the idea that progress means modern technology, or that everyone should live the same way. The Sentinelese show us that survival, community, and resilience can take many forms. In an age where everything is photographed, tracked, and shared online, there remains a people who have said, in the clearest way possible, no, we do not want to be found. So what should we do about North Sentinel Island? The answer, perhaps, is nothing. Let them be. Let them live as they have for thousands of years. Because in doing so, we preserve not just their way of life but also a little of the mystery, wildness, and diversity that makes our planet so fascinating.